If you are building a React application, you have user information like username, theme, or language. Many components need the same data. Passing it through every component becomes difficult. That's called prop drilling. To solve the problem, React provides use context. What is use context? Use context is a React hook that allows components to access shared data directly without passing props through every intermediate component. Imagine a mother wants to tell something to her younger child. Without use context, she tells the eldest child. The eldest tells the middle child. The middle child tells the youngest. That's prop drilling. With use context, the youngest child can receive the message directly. That's exactly how use context works. First, we need to create a context. But what exactly is a context? Think of it as a shared storage box. We are creating a place where React can store data that many components can use. We create it using this. At this point, the context is empty. We have only created the storage box. We haven't put any data inside it yet. Now we need to put data inside that storage box. That's why we use a provider. The provider shares the value with every component inside it. In this example, the shared value is Guna. You can also share user information, theme, language, authentication status, or any shared data. Now imagine you are inside a child component. You want the shared data. Instead of receiving it through props, you simply ask React for it. That's exactly what use context does. React immediately returns the value stored in the provider. So, user becomes Guna. That's it. No prop drilling, no passing props through every component. Let's understand the complete flow. We create a context. It's like creating an empty storage box. The provider puts shared data inside that storage box. Any child component can access that shared data using use context. If the provider value changes, React automatically updates every component using that context. What problem does use context solve? It solves prop drilling by allowing components to access shared data directly without passing props through multiple components. Mistake number 1. Using use context without a provider. The component will receive the default value or undefined. Context is useful for shared data, but don't store every state inside context. If the context is not exported, other components cannot access it. Alright, let's do a quick revision before we finish. First, shares data between components. What does that mean? It means multiple components can use the same data. For example, your neighbor, profile, dashboard, settings, all of them can use the same user information without creating separate copies. Second, avoids prop drilling. This is one of the biggest advantages. Instead of passing props through parent, then child, then grandchild, React lets any component access the shared data directly. So our code becomes much cleaner. Third, easy to access using use context. Once the context is created and the provider is added, any child component can simply write and React immediately gives us the shared data. It's simple and easy. Now let's look at two important things beginners often misunderstand. Use context is amazing, but it is not the solution for every problem. For complex applications, you may still use tools like Redux or Sustand. So don't think use context replace every state management library. If a value is only needed inside one component, keep it inside that component. Don't create context for every button, every input, or every small variable. Use context only when multiple components really need the same data. So remember this, use context is perfect for sharing common data like user information, theme, language, or authentication. But for small local state, keep it local. That's a smart way to use context. Now you know how use context helps components share data without prop drilling. This is one of the most common React interview questions. If you found this helpful, like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. See you in the next React hook.